Billions of years ago, Mars wasn't the barren red wasteland we know today. It was a thriving blue-green world with vast oceans, lush landscapes, and even an advanced civilization racing toward the stars. But something went horribly wrong. A slow, catastrophic collapse wiped out everything. From towering alien forests to intelligent beings who once gazed at Earth from their crimson skies. How did this planetary apocalypse turn a paradise into a frozen desert? And what secrets might still be buried under the Martian dust? Buckle up. We're diving into the most mind-blowing what-if story of our solar system.
Revelarium.
Billions of years ago, a habitable paradise. Picture this. Mars 3.5 billion years in the past, during its wet and warm Noachian era. A thick atmosphere trapped heat like a cozy blanket, keeping temperatures between 10 and 30 degrees Celsius. Oceans covered the northern hemisphere. Rivers carved deep valleys like Valles Marineris. Back then, a thriving network of waterways and rainstorms nourished the iron-rich soil. A protective magnetic field shielded the planet from deadly solar winds. And with gravity just a third of Earth's, life evolved in wild, lightweight forms. This wasn't a dead rock. It was a vibrant biosphere, born from primordial soups in volcanic hot springs, much like early Earth. The air hummed with alien sounds, and the ground teemed with creatures that would blow your mind. But paradise doesn't last forever. The Flora, alien gardens of Wonder Mars plant life was tough and bizarre, adapted to dimmer sunlight and mineral-heavy dirt. Vast purple and green algae mats floated on ocean surfaces, pumping out oxygen through specialized photosynthesis. These were the lungs of the planet, feeding the food chain. On land, giant moss trees stretched up to 5 meters tall, their spongy trunks and waxy leaves hoarding water against dry spells. In equatorial zones, crystal forests sparkled, silica-based plants like living gems, filtering toxins and creating misty oases. They released glowing spores that danced in the winds, lighting up the night like bioluminescent fireworks. These plants stabilized the soil, prevented floods, and painted the landscape in eerie hues. But they were fragile to change, and change was coming. The fauna. Creatures from another world animal life started small, with heat-loving microbes in geothermal pools, but evolved into a menagerie of wonders. In the oceans, flying jellyfish drifted on currents, their tentacles snaring plankton. Deeper down, 8-legged water spiders prowled mineral coral reefs, their iridescent shells shimmering in the depths. On dry land, dune jumpers ruled, cat-sized insects with gliding wings, leaping vast distances in low gravity to sip nectar from moss trees. Burrowing sand serpents ambushed prey with reflective scales that camouflaged them in the red dust. Polar regions hosted air swimmers, furry mammals with gas bladders floating like balloons on seasonal migrations. Herds of four-horned walkers grazed fern prairies, their branched horns clashing in territorial displays. Apex predators, like cave hawks, dove from volcanic lairs to snatch meals. It was a balanced, interdependent web until the web started unraveling. The Inhabitants, the Aelari civilization. At the top of this ecosystem stood the Aelari, tall, slender bipeds, about 5 meters high, with reddish scaly skin to block UV rays and multifaceted eyes for low-light vision. Evolving from tree-climbing primates in moss forests, they had 4-fingered hands perfect for crafting tools. Early tribes were nomadic, dwelling in crater caves or biodomes woven from plant fibers. They worshipped the water spirit, harnessing geothermal energy from volcanoes like Olympus Mons to power underground cities. Their tech was crystal-based, piezoelectric devices for electricity, wind-solar gliders for exploration. Aelari society was matriarchal and harmonious, with ultrasonic songs passing down knowledge. The beginning of the end. Planetary catastrophe. Around 3 billion years ago, Mars' core began cooling, weakening its magnetic shield. Solar winds stripped away the atmosphere bit by bit, thinning the air and dropping temperatures. Oceans evaporated or froze underground, turning rivers to dust-choked canyons. A massive asteroid strike in the southern hemisphere kicked off the nightmare. It blasted debris sky high, triggering global dust storms that blocked the sun for decades. Nuclear winter set in, without nukes, but with the same deadly chill. Fires raged from impact heat, scorching crystal forests. Acid rain from atmospheric reactions poisoned soils and waters. The algae mats died first, starving ocean life. Dune jumpers and four-horned walkers collapsed from famine as plants withered. The Aelari retreated to geothermal bunkers, farming fungi and rationing water. But plagues mutated in the radiation, wars erupted over resources, and their cities crumbled under quakes from a destabilizing crust. The Extinction. A world dies. Over millions of years, the cascade accelerated. Temperatures plunged below freezing, oceans vanished, and the atmosphere escaped into space. Acidic seas killed marine species, land animals starved or froze. The last air swimmers plummeted as the air grew too thin. For the Aelari, it was agony. Survivors sent desperate probes toward a distant blue planet, Earth, encoding their history. But one by one, they succumbed to cold, disease, and despair. By 2 billion years ago, Mars was silent. Only hardy microbes might linger in subsurface pockets, waiting for a miracle. About 75% of Martian life vanished, leaving fossils and ruins buried under red regolith. The aftermath. A frozen tomb. A million years post-collapse, Mars was a cold, arid shell. Sparse ferns clung to life in sheltered craters, and tiny critters scavenged. But recovery stalled. The lost atmosphere doomed any rebound. Ancient lakebeds, hunting for biosignatures. Fast forward 100 million years. The planet stabilized as a desert world, with polar ice caps and occasional dust devils. Biodiversity? Gone. No more oceans, no alien cities, just echoes in the wind. Billions of years later, Mars is the red planet, a dusty museum of what might have been. Rovers like Perseverance poke at a new red world today. We humans eye Mars for colonization. Not asteroids or cooling cores threaten us, but our own choices back on Earth. Will we learn from this cosmic what if and protect our world? Or will we end up like the Aelari, fading into the stars? Let's not find out. May the cosmos guide you.